Now, the weather has done its best to put them off, but the crowds have come out to see one of the Navy's newest ships, the aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales, which has sailed into Liverpool for the first time.
Part of the ship was made across the Mersey at Camberled shipyard at Birkenhead. Tickets to go on board were snapped up in just 1 hour. Our Merseyside correspondent Andy Bonner was very lucky to get on board. Now, it is a giant of a ship, Andy. It looks spectacular. What's it like?
Just one word, Elaine, huge. She weighs 65,000 tonnes. She's 70 metres wide, 280 metres in length. Just look at the size of this flight deck. She is only the second aircraft carrier in the new big Queen Elizabeth class, and already the city of Liverpool has taken her to their hearts. Powerful and fast, this Goliath of the seas is the latest weapon in the Royal Navy's arsenal. Built partly in Birkenhead, this is somewhat of a homecoming for the new HMS Prince of Wales.
Awe-inspiring. I've been in the Navy for 38 years, and for the last 20 years we've been waiting for these aircraft carriers to come into service, and so it's really quite warming to see her coming into the river. And on a personal level, it's taken us really 3 years of planning to get her here, even though we only knew she was coming 6 weeks ago.
This is the aircraft carrier's first visit to Liverpool. Her affiliations with the city mean a close bond between the ship and the community here. And today, many withstood the winter weather to get a first look at the ship on the Mersey.
We're a hardy lot down here. We don't let a bit of rain, ice, snow, sleet. But no, I mean, there's people lining the waterfront already. We have lots of people who've served both in the Merchant Navy and in the Royal Navy as well. And people have a real affinity. We're a port city. We've got the river running right through us. So, I mean, people really, really do love to see these naval ships come into dock.
This is one of the largest ships ever built for the Royal Navy. F-35 Lightning fighter jets fly from a flight deck big enough for 3 football pitches. This is a floating city carrying up to 1,600 people.
Yeah, there'll be excitement on board that, they're able to show this asset off. I mean, it was only commissioned on the 10th of December, and now here she is in the north of England. Ships company are going to come into the town. Members of the public are going to get to look around over the next couple of days, and we'll be able to show what they can do.
HMS Prince of Wales is in Liverpool all week. People lucky enough to get tickets will be able to step on board this weekend. They'll be the first to do so in what's hoped will be the first of many visits here. Yeah, as we heard, those tickets disappeared within just about an hour, which is something. So I think the ship's company are going to have a very busy weekend ahead of them. Commodore, we saw you in the report there. Can you tell me a bit more about the ship and the stats, the facts and figures? What are her capabilities?
Well, the capability primarily is to provide a sovereign base for the UK government to do whatever it wishes to do around the world. So that's from UK security, maritime security, deterrence, right the way through to high-end fighting. And Prince of Wales will be the centrepiece of that task group, surrounded by frigates, destroyers, amphibious ships and such like.
OK, and in terms of what's on board, I mean, can you tell me any more about the ship itself?
Sure. Well, the ship is designed to operate the Lightning II jet in the main. So 30 odd of those operating on a strict cycle have been available to do whatever it is that is wanted, and helicopters. Very, very good mix of helicopters that can do that as well. But then, most of all, the prime fighting power and prime power of the ship is the ship's company. So 850 sailors and marines doing their stuff.
OK, Commodore, for now, thanks very much indeed. Well, lots of people on board here. Let's speak to one of them for whom this was a very special day for you, Sean, wasn't it? Tell me, where you're from?
I'm from Liverpool City Centre.
Literally from round the corner. So tell me how long you've been in the Royal Navy for?
I'm still going through my officer training, so I joined about 25 weeks ago now, and I've been on the ship for 6 weeks. That's
incredible, and what a way to start your training as well. So tell me about what it was like for you today when you know, the ship basically, came to the Mersey.
It was amazing. I'm so proud to come into this city and for it to be the first time I'm on a warship and it's my home city. It's been an amazing experience.
And of course, the ship's going to be here for about a week, isn't it? So will you get some shore leave? Will you get to see your family? Will you get to go and see town?
Yeah, I'll be able to get to see my family of an evening, and I've got them coming on board as well, so that'll be good for them to see and see where I live and what my life's like now. So.
And I mean, long term, would you like to serve on it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping to be in the Navy for a very, very long time. I'll be an officer soon, fully, so yeah, I'll be coming back soon and it's exciting.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, Sean. Congratulations. So, as I say, the ship is going to be here for the rest of the week, and there's plenty going on down here. Even if you haven't got a ticket, there is a whole village at the pier head where all the armed forces are represented.
Andy, absolutely brilliant. Liverpool has an amazing skyline, doesn't it? And staying with our maritime theme tonight, and a competition's been launched to help design a new memorial to mark the role of what's known as the Silent Service.
Yeah, they are the Royal Navy submariners who've served on vessels built at the famous shipyard in Barrow in all the major conflicts.
School children have been asked to come up with some designs for a fitting tribute. From Barrow, Tim Scott reports.
With the impressive HMS Anson as a backdrop, where better to launch the Submariner Memorial Appeal than at BAE Systems in Barrow-in-Furness, the home of British submarine building. The idea behind the appeal is to build a fitting monument to commemorate the 174 submariners who sacrificed their lives in service of their country.
It's just reflective of where we are in the nation's psyche and what we do for the nation. I don't think necessarily size will be the important thing, but it'd be nice to have something that's able, where people are able to go and reflect, people are able to commemorate in their own way.
The memorial will be sited at the National Memorial Arboretum in Staffordshire and will provide a focal point for commemoration for servicemen and women and their families.
We'd love to see some inspiring designs. We don't necessarily want a sculpture of a submarine or a submariner, but if something maybe in glass or in some other material that actually looks beautiful, looks appropriate, is inspiring for people that go to visit the Arboretum, then that's the sort of thing we hope to see.
Also in attendance today were boys and girls from Dane Gill Community Primary School in Barrow. Inspired by what they'd seen and heard, they were encouraged to talk about submarines and come up with their own ideas for what the memorial could look like.
I draw a little boat and there's people who to remember the Samaritans who used to go to sea, and then now we can remember them.
Tell us what you've learned about submarines and stuff today.
They go underwater and sometimes sharks try to eat them.
Would you like to be on a submarine? What do you think?
I wouldn't, because I wouldn't like being underwater for that long.
Really? What about you?
I would.
The submarine service is looking to raise £300,000 to fund their new memorial, and they're hoping as many young people as possible will take part in the competition to design it. Tim Scott, ITV News, Barrow-in-Furness.
For that, now, just before we go, a final look at the HMS Prince of Wales even, the Royal Navy's new aircraft carrier. It'll be docked in Liverpool this weekend and all next week if you want to pay a visit.
Though remember, all the tickets to go on board are sold out. It looks absolutely stunning though, so well worth taking a look. That's it from the team. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
HMS Prince of Wales is one of 2 aircraft carriers built at a cost of £3 billion each. They're the biggest and most powerful ships the Royal Navy's ever had.
HMS Prince of Wales will be in Liverpool for the next week, and large crowds have already started lining the waterfront to take a look. Let's go live to our Merseyside reporter Andy Gill. He watched us sail in and he joins us now live. Andy.
Yeah, she's quite a sight, isn't she? And quite a few people gathering here now that the weather has improved. The lashing rain put a lot of people off when she arrived at lunchtime, I'm sure. There was a big security operation before she came. Divers down there checking things. There are lots of police around. All the drains here have been checked and then taped over to make sure there's nothing here. There are barriers to stop anyone driving in who's got the wrong thing on their mind. But she's an enormous ship and we're expecting enormous crowds to come and see see her over the next 7 days. Down a big grey river on a very grey day sails a very big grey ship, HMS Prince of Wales, one of the most powerful warships ever built in the UK. She turned about in the middle of the Mersey before tying up at Liverpool's cruise liner terminal, the start of a week-long visit.
This is an amazing ship. Just watching her coming up the Mersey was fantastic. We really are delighted to be affiliated with such a marvellous vessel.
Liverpool is one of 2 cities officially affiliated to the carrier.
It's about telling people what the Royal Navy does and how it does it, and so that the Royal Navy and indeed Defence are understood, valued and respected by the community which we serve and which we protect.
The atrocious weather meant smaller crowds than expected for the arrival, though thousands are expected in Liverpool over the next few days. Tickets to go on board sold out in an hour.
One word, wowcher. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, and such an honour for it to come into Liverpool, really.
It's British, it's big, it's got fantastic capabilities.
It's amazing. Can't believe the size of it.
Because we are somebody, and that shows who we are to the rest of the world.
The Camel-led shipyard in Birkenhead made the flight decks for the Prince of Wales and her sister ship, the Queen Elizabeth. The flight deck of the Prince of Wales is the equivalent of 3 football pitches. There are 700 crew, that goes up to 1,600 when there are aircraft on board. It carries enough food for 45 days, and every day the crew get through 170 metres of sausages. That's nearly twice the height of the Liver building.
So float into head 30. Float into head 30.
Britain had no working aircraft carriers for 10 years. The Queen Elizabeth does have fighter jets now, but this one doesn't yet. It's due to be operational in 3 years and have a service life of 50 years. Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.